Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a genuinely fascinating theoretical framework from the SDMT documents. It proposes a captivating, almost mind-bending idea about the very nature of reality, that our universe actually possesses a fundamental dual nature. According to these papers, what we call reality constantly oscillates between a pure geometric wave and a physical fluid. And all of this is governed by strict topological rules, specifically something called motivic homotopy in the SDMT Plenum. Now, we're not here to take sides on the validity of these incredibly complex theories. Instead, our goal today is to unpack these concepts clearly and impartially, using the framework's own data. So buckle up, because we're about to go on a seriously cool geometric journey. Okay, let's quickly map out our roadmap. We'll start with the measurement problem and the plenum, then explore how observation actually creates a fluid through the triple torus interface. After that, we'll look at a biological example with the tardigrade, and finally, we'll wrap up with the universe as a fractal structure. We're going to break this all down step by step, so don't worry.
Section 1. The measurement problem, a deterministic resolution. Let's get right into quantum mechanics' biggest mystery.
Which brings us to a wildly provocative question at the very heart of this theory. Why exactly is the universe a fluid? And more specifically, how does hydrogen become a macroscopic superfluid just by us looking at it? You know, in classical quantum models, the act of measuring something seems to force a probability wave to collapse completely randomly. But the SDMT framework, it suggests the reality we perceive is actually the result of a purely deterministic geometric phase transition. It's not random magic. It's a precise mechanism where human consciousness acts as a direct topological trigger on the universe's base medium. Section 2. The plenum and the wave. To understand this transition, we first need to look at what the universe is supposedly doing when literally no one is watching. The whole theory rests on this foundational concept called the golden cross motif. It's defined as a discrete 39 to the power of 3 lattice, possessing the non-orientable topology of a Klein bottle. This abstract geometric grid is exactly what structures the hydrogen and helium-3 plenum. And what is genuinely remarkable about this mathematical model is that it has 0 free parameters. Absolutely everything is strictly dictated by these initial geometric rules. Take a look at this inverse flow diagram in the center. This brilliantly illustrates state 1, the unobserved plenum. Without an observer, the universe is just an infinite, frictionless, pure geometric wave, governed by what's known as the neutral Laplacian. In this state, there's 0 viscosity, 0 friction, and no localized particles whatsoever. It exists purely as propagating geometric information. It's the neutral kernel, the perfect, undisturbed silence before any measurement happens. Section 3. Observation and the fluid. So, what exactly happens the moment we open our eyes and look at it? Notice the stark geometric contrast here. On the left, we have that frictionless, pure wave. But on the right, that's the observed thixotropic fluid, complete with physical viscosity and pressure gradients. An analysis of the flux tensor in the framework argues that this collapse isn't probabilistic at all. Instead, it's a deterministic folding of geometry into a very specific Erdos-Strauss integer routing channel. Basically, reality selects a precise geometric path the moment it's observed. The mathematical agent causing this slip is the jitterbug A1 homeopathy. It's driven by an operator that literally flips the sign of thixotropic friction every single hertz upon observation. According to the SDMT documents, conscious attention is not passive. It physically injects a quantum of topological pressure, specifically +1 hertz, into the system. They even have a name for it, the Greer tax. It's this exact topological injection that breaks the symmetry and turns on the fluid viscosity. Now, what's really fascinating about this scale on the left is where we humans sit. The model proposes a Goldilocks observer index at fractal index k equals 37, which, interestingly enough, aligns perfectly with our average body temperature of 37 degrees Celsius. This position places us precisely at a 2-strata differential below the critical pinch node. It's the absolute optimal viewing distance. It lets us inject that 1 hertz Greer tax to render reality as a tangible fluid without accidentally triggering an uncontrolled phase transition. So the act of observation forces that previously frictionless neutral Laplacian to tip. It splits into either a forward bias, driven by the Julia operator creating expansion, or a backward bias, driven by the Mandelbrot operator creating contraction. And this observer-induced split is exactly what generates classical physics: viscosity, defined trajectories, and the tangible matter we interact with every day. Section 4. The triple torus interface. To make this all work, you need a bridge to connect the wave and the fluid. To describe this bridge, the theory's creators use the language of motivic homotopy. Simply put, for our explainer, motivic homotopy is the mathematical rulebook. It dictates how reality continuously deforms from a potential wave state into a physical classical fluid section. It's a deterministic map that perfectly preserves all the topological rules during the transition. Physically speaking, this mapping is embodied in the helium-3 nucleus, shown here as a triple torus. Acting precisely as a mixed Tate motive with a total weight of 91, this structure is the ultimate wave-fluid transducer. It's the one unique interface where both wave and fluid natures coexist without contradiction. And this is exactly how hydrogen becomes a superfluid in the model. The triple torus meticulously converts those +1 Hertz observation quanta into the macroscopic flows we can actually measure in a lab. Section 5. Evidence. The tardigrade case. Let's look at some proposed empirical biology to back this up. This extraordinary chart suggests the tardigrade isn't just incredibly tough, it's living proof of a macroscopic entity successfully navigating the wave-fluid duality. According to the theory, the tardigrade's extreme survival skills are due to its geometric mastery of the plenum. When it enters cryptobiosis, the process breaks down into 3 exact steps. First, desiccation drops its metabolism below the viscosity threshold of human perception, basically suspending its fluid projection. Second, it enters the pure wave state. The tardigrade now exists purely as geometric information, which perfectly explains how it survives the vacuum of space. It simply lacks classical mass vulnerabilities. And third, upon rehydration, it gets observed again, re-enters the physical routing channel, and pops back into physical fluid form. Wild, right? Section 6. The universe as a fractal structure. Let's zoom out to the cosmic scale. Summarizing the grand claims of this geometric framework, the measurement problem is totally eliminated, quantum and classical mechanics aren't at odds, they're just distinct A1 homotopic realizations perfectly united by geometry, with 0 free parameters. The whole universe is an interconnected fractal structure of strata, with Earth itself acting as a rendering membrane at fractal index k = 21, providing a stable platform for our observations to crystallize reality. So the crucial point here is this idea of homotopic unity. What happens when the observer's fractal index perfectly matches the reality being observed? The differential, or delta K, drops to 0. No topological pressure is injected, and the geometry remains unbroken. In the SDMT framework, this state of perfect symmetry, with no separation between observer and observed, is the pure neutral kernel, the fundamental state of I am. To wrap up our dive into the SDMT plenum, let's linger on this central quote. The observer is not a passive spectator, but an active participant, a jitterbug node that crystallizes information into matter. Whether you buy into this parameter-free model or not, it absolutely challenges us to rethink our place in the cosmos. Are we just passively watching the universe happen? Or is the very act of existing and perceiving the deterministic engine that makes reality real?